So when you are working with athletes in their really, really hot conditions, and you're in a laboratory, you can actually measure skin temperature with thermistors. You can measure rectal temperature. You can measure esophageal temperature. You can take these little pills. You can quantify how the heat rises. But a really nice surrogate of becoming excessively hot is you have these very powerful sensations. And when people start to feel really hot and really uncomfortable and feel weak, or experiencing like heat cramps, they usually are getting quite hot. And you don't need a thermometer to tell you that. You can see the flushed face. You can see they'll tell you, I feel hot, I feel distressed. And one of the easiest ways to know that something is working is that you start to alleviate sensations. And there's two things that can happen. You can alleviate sensations of being hot and not really cool yourself much. I have had a chance to talk to Professor Craig Heller about some of the dangers associated with cooling inappropriately, and he's reminded me that if you put ice on the back of your neck and you're close to major arteries and they're feeding the brain, I think he said it was like putting a wet blanket over a thermostat. You're essentially short-circuiting a really important feedback loop. And so you're cooling the brain. The brain says keep going. The body heat goes up very, very high. That's a trick, and that's a little bit of a trap for new players. Sometimes you can go, oh, I put ice on my skin. It's hot out. I should go back out in the garden and work. I'll be fine. But your body's still actually pretty hot. With other techniques, you can remove heat and not really feel it as much. And that sometimes happens like with CoolMint. It's a powerful way to move heat out of the body and not necessarily feel like, this doesn't feel like I'm freezing myself. This feels fairly mild, but it's actually pulling a lot of temperature out. But ultimately, the way you know things are working is it's quite hot out and you're still very functional. It's quite hot out and you don't feel really distressed. I think that's one of the easiest ways to know that something's working in the heat.